Hello, I'm Shawn Achor, the author of The Happiness Advantage and Before Happiness, and a positive psychology researcher. I grew up in the household of an academic, so I know how difficult it is sometimes for us to translate our findings into real life, especially given the fact that the average scientific journal article is only read by 7 people on average total, which is incredibly depressing for a researcher to hear. So what I've dedicated my life to is being able to help us to bridge that gap between what we've been learning in the laboratories and what we've been doing within our own lives, in our schools and in our companies as well. Sometimes to bridge that gap, I use graphs. Sometimes I use a funny story, like in my TED Talk where I talked about how my sister fell off of a bunk bed and I called her a unicorn. But sometimes I use an orange frog. When I was an undergraduate at Harvard University, I was studying literature, and what I learned is how powerful stories are for translating an idea into something that becomes much more than that, something that becomes the common language that we use to create behaviors that change our values in the long run. As a result of that, I wrote The Orange Frog, and Spark was born. What I wanted to do was to take the research findings we've been doing in the field of positive psychology and make them come to life in a way that allows people to be able to digest the information in a better way, but also to see how it's not just them choosing happiness, it's other people choosing it around them as well. Happiness is a choice, but it's an interconnected choice. The more we choose it, the easier it is for other people to choose that as well, which is exactly the message that comes out of the Orange Frog book, but also the Orange Frog Workshop, which was designed to make that book translatable to people's lives so that they can find a way to see it not only in their work life, but in their personal lives as well. I hope you will take the time to experience the Happiness Advantage Orange Frog Workshop to see how you can make these habits into something that creates greater levels of happiness for you and for people around you. The research is clear. The greatest competitive advantage in the modern economy is a positive and engaged brain. Literally every single business and educational outcome improves when the human brain is positive, and the workshop is designed to create habits and routines that make that change easier but also sustained. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have an opportunity to spread that positivity and happiness far and wide.